Hello and welcome to the In News series section of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's video we will be discussing about the recent decision that has been taken by the government of Himachal Pradesh, and that is to raise the minimum marriage age for women. So as of now, if we talk about then the marriageable age, the official marriageable age in India for women is 18 years, while for men is 21 years. While the new law or the new bill that has been passed in the Himachal Pradesh, it talks about changing the minimum marriageable age for women. So let us first of all talk about the points of discussion. First we'll be looking at the news, then why the Himachal Pradesh has passed the bill, what is Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, how will the bill come to effect, and in the end prelims practice question. Topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 1 and paper 2, that is Indian society and social justice, and also issues related to children and women. So the news talks about Himachal bill raises women's marriage age. What happens next? Raises women's marriage age. As of now it is 18 years of age, so this has been raised from 18 to 21 years in the state of Himachal Pradesh. So the Himachal Pradesh Assembly has passed a bill to raise the minimum age of marriage for women from 18 to 21 years. So in the state of Himachal Pradesh, all over India it has not been done. Specifically in the state of Himachal Pradesh, the bill has been passed to raise the minimum age of marriage for women from 18 to 21 years. And Prohibition of Child Marriage Bill 2024 has been passed by the voice note. So the bill that has been passed in Himachal Pradesh, the name of the bill is Prohibition of Child Marriage Himachal Pradesh Amendment Bill 2024. The bill which has amended the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, that is 2006. So as of now the official act all over India which runs is the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. So this act will be amended by this bill. So the new marriage age for women will apply to everyone in Himachal Pradesh regardless of what any other law may state. So irrespective of the personal laws in the complete Himachal Pradesh, this marriageable age will be applied to each and everyone irrespective of the personal laws that any other religion have their own. So this will be for everyone in Himachal Pradesh. And the bill will increase the time period for filing a petition to annul a marriage also. Annul a marriage means to finish a marriage. So as of now what happens is that according to the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, the marriageable age for women is 18 years in India, while for men is 21 years in India. This is what is followed in India. But what has been done in the state of Himachal Pradesh, that is the marriageable age for men and women both will be made equal, that is 21 years. It means that the marriageable age for women has been raised from 18 years to 21 years. And with regard to this, till now the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, in the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, if anyone wants to, the countering party in the marriage, that is a male and a female, if any of them want to annul their marriage, till now the time period was of 2 years, but now the time period for the annulment of marriage has also been increased to 5 years within the Himachal Pradesh bill. Now why the Himachal Pradesh has passed the bill? So the State Health, Social Justice and Empowerment Minister has said few of the points, and few of the points being that first, it is necessary to raise the minimum age of marriage for women to provide opportunities to them. To provide opportunities. The word opportunities means be it political opportunity, social opportunity, education opportunity, literacy opportunity. Because with women getting married at a very younger age, so they get deprived of many of the opportunities which they would have done or which they would have fulfilled if they would have not gotten married at such an early age. Like for example, the education or the career prospect, they could have entered the India's workforce, and women workforce in India, if we talk about, that is around 25% as of now. So these women who got married at a very young age might have entered or might have reached some position in their career or in their professional life that they would have brought pride for India. So if a woman gets married at a very younger age, then she is deprived of the many opportunities that she would have got, and this also hinders her education, progress in life, career, and also her physical development. Because if a woman is getting married, if a girl is getting married at a very younger age, at the age of 18, 19 or 20, then she might become a mother at a very younger age also, and with that her physical development also gets hampered, and she tends to develop some side effects, or she tends to develop some kind of diseases that might harm her body in future. Then early marriage and motherhood often severely impact the health of the woman in many cases. Now PCM Act, that is the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. What does the PCM Act talks about? So the section 2A of the PCM Act, it talks about and it defines a child. So PCM Act talks about that a child is someone who, if male, has not completed 21 years of age, and if a female has not completed 18 years of age. So according to the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, a male is a child if he has not completed 21 years of age, and a female is a child if she has not completed 18 years of age. And these both are marriageable age in India, the official marriageable age in India. So before that they are considered child. Then section 2B of PCM Act, it defines child marriage as a marriage to which either of the contracting parties is a child. According to the PCM Act, a child marriage is a marriage that happens between childs. And what do they consider child? Male who is below the age of 21 and female who is below the age of 18. So female getting married below the age of 18 comes into child marriage, and male getting married below the age of 21 comes in under child marriage. Then section 16 of the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, it allows the state governments to appoint a CMPO, that is the Child Marriage Prohibition Officers for specific areas. So under section 16 of PCM Act, the state governments has the power to appoint the child marriage prohibition officers for specific areas in which they think that things are not going well or more number of child marriages are taking place. Then what are the work of the CMPO, that is the Child Marriage Prohibition Officer? The work is to prevent child marriages from taking place, collecting evidence for prosecutions, counseling against promoting or aiding such child marriages, raising awareness about their harmful effect. So basically the work of the CMPO is to stop or to prevent the happening of the child marriage, and also create or raise awareness among the people with regard to the child marriages. Now how will the bill come to effect? Now let us talk about that how the bill can amend the act, because the bill has been passed in a state, and if we talk about the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, then it is all over the India. So a bill which is for a particular state, how will it be able to amend the act? Let us talk about it. So first of all, the point of child marriage comes under the concurrent list. And if we talk about the concurrent list, so in India there are three types of list, that is central list, state list and concurrent list. So child marriage comes under concurrent list. State list is what state government is responsible for. Central list is what center is responsible for, whilst concurrent list is both center and state government responsible, but the center has an upper edge. So the concurrent list or list 3 under the 7th schedule. So all these list 3 list comes under the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution, and the subjects which comes under the concurrent list are both central and state government can pass laws on it. And under the concurrent list, if we talk about the entry 5 of the concurrent list, then the entry 5 of the concurrent list comprises a number of subjects like marriage and divorce, infants and minors, and the topic of child marriage also comes under entry 5 of the concurrent list. Then, so entry 5 of the concurrent list, it means that both central government and state government can make laws on the topic of the child marriage. Now let us come to the part of implementation, how it will take effect. So first of all, let us talk about Article 200 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 200 talks about that the bill will be passed by the state assembly, will be handed over to the governor for that state for his or her assent. So if any bill has been passed by the state assembly, then the bill goes to the governor of the state for the assent from the governor, and the governor has the power whether he or she can give the assent to the bill, then the bill will be made a law, or he or she can return the bill to the assembly for reconsideration, or he or she can reserve it for the consideration by the president. And this third option becomes complex. So if the assent is given, then bill will be made into act, or the bill can be returned to the assembly for the reconsideration. But there is a third option for under which the bill is reserved by the governor for the consideration of the president. And if the bill will be passed by the bill which is passed by the Himachal Pradesh amends the PCM Act, that is the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, by introducing a different marriage age for women, that is making it inconsistent with the act which is passed by the parliament. Now what is happening in this case is that the Himachal Pradesh bill which has been passed, it is saying that the marriageable age for women has been raised, while the act, that is the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, it talks about the age of women for marriage is 18 years. Himachal Pradesh Act talks about 21 years. So Himachal Pradesh Act bill is a state bill, while PCM Act is a act which runs all over India, and state bill and PCM Act is not consistent with each other while talking about the age. PCM Act is saying 18 years of age, Himachal Pradesh bill is saying 21 years of age. So the state bill is not consistent with the PCM Act. So in this case, when the state bill is not consistent with the act, then the act which is passed by the state can be considered void. But there is an exception to it also. Now let us talk about Article 254 Clause 1. So it talks about that if the state legislature enacts a law dealing with a subject in the concurrent list and that law is repugnant, repugnant means inconsistent with the central law, then the repugnant portion of the state law will be void. The point, as I just told you, that if the central concurrent list is both state government and central government has the power to make laws, but if the state government, the law which they are making is not going on the same terms with the central law, then there is an inconsistency between both, and in the case of inconsistency, the repugnant portion of the state law will be void. So state law will be void. But there is an exception to it also. So exception to this is provided under Article 254 Clause 2, and it says that bill must be reserved for the president's consideration. So if the governor reserves the bill for the president's consideration and needs to receive his or her assent as per Article 201. So the bill which is reserved by the governor for the president, if the president gives the assent to the bill, then the bill can become the act. Only then can the repugnant portion or provision in the state law will be valid, and this has also happened in the Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code law. So basically what happens, the governor which has reserved the bill for the president's consent. If the president gives the consent to the bill, then the bill which has been passed in the state and is inconsistent with the central law, then the state law or the portion which is inconsistent with the central law will also be made valid if the president will give his or her assent to the bill. Be very clear, it is not the governor, it is the president who will in the end give his or her assent to the bill. Now let us talk about few of the general information. So a Lancet report in the year 2023 came up and it talked about that the girl-child marriage declined from 49% in 1993 to 22% in the year 2021. And there are around 6 states in which the girl-child marriages has been on a rise, and that is Manipur, Punjab, Tripura and West Bengal. Then according to the UNICEF has categorized child marriage as a human right violation due to its adverse impact on the development of both girls and boys. And also if we talk about the sustainable development goals, so the sustainable development goal 5.3 talks about the prevention of the harmful practices like child marriage. So it is also given under the SDG goals. Then what are the factors for the child marriage, or the factors because of which the child marriage gets promotion? That is the economic burden, that a girl child is considered to be an economic burden on the parents, specifically with regard to her marriage or the dowry that they have to give. Then gender inequality, a son or a male is considered to be economically viable, and that is why the girl gets married at a very young age. Then gender discrimination or traditional practices, because it has been going on since such a long period of time or since so many decades, so it must prevail. Then if we talk about few of the schemes that the government has taken out to stop the child marriage, so first of all is the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, that the girl child must get education and then she should move forward in her professional life also, and she must get education and literacy. Then there is an Dhanalakshmi scheme. So it is a conditional cash transfer scheme for a girl child with insurance coverage. So the medical insurance coverage is also provided and the cash transfer is also provided, and the aim is to eliminate the child marriage. So if the education will be provided to the girls, then the cases of the child marriage will be on a decline. Then in the end, a prelims practice question, and you people will give me the answer in the comment section. So the sustainable development goal. So which sustainable development goal is associated with the elimination of harmful practices like child marriage? Sustainable development goal. SDG 5, SDG 5.2, SDG 5.3 or SDG 6. We have discussed this in the video. So give me the answer in the comment section. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time. Keep reading, keep writing and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.